What's going on, everybody? Dr. Delatorro, welcome back to my channel. Listen, let me say something really powerful to you right up front. When you practice in front of the mirror, too much of the focus is on you, and that's the problem. Practicing your presentation, mirror practice is trash, friends. Mirror practice is trash, friends. So we're gonna do something different instead. One of the number one questions that I get asked all over the planet is, Dr. Delatorro, how do you prepare for your presentation? How do you prepare to deliver all these incredible talks and programs? And so we're gonna talk about how we go about the process of practicing our presentations, because we all heard this a zillion times, that proper prior planning prevents pitifully poor performance. I'm gonna say that again. Proper prior planning prevents pitifully poor performance. And I want you to sit back, relax, take some good notes in this video, fire off in the comments, let me know how this content is resonating with you, because I know that if you apply what I teach you by the end of this video, you will have everything that you need to take your speaking game to the next level in terms of the practice part. And if you practice better, you will deliver 10 times better. I recently was at a conference in Miami. It was a mega conference. There were over 35 speakers at this conference. Very high level speakers. And guess what? I was told that we were one of the top 3 best speakers at the entire conference out of over 30 speakers. But guess what? 2 out of the 3 folks that got named the top 3 best speakers at the conference were the ones that put the most practice in during sound check. So my friend, I'm telling you, these keys are what's gonna get future doors of opportunity to open and fly open for you to help take you to the next level. Let's jump in. You ready? Let's go. We're not doing mirror practice anymore. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to get your content together. First thing I want you to do is I want you to get your content together, okay? Whatever you're gonna be talking about, if it's 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, if you're giving a keynote presentation, whatever you do, if you're using PowerPoint, whatever your content is, actually get your content together, get it all in one place. Are your notes gonna be from an iPad? Are they gonna be from a PowerPoint or a keynote presentation? Are they gonna be handwritten? Get your content together and get it in one place. And the reason why this is important, and I wanna stress something else to you, not only do I want you to get your content together, but I also want you to minimize the amount of notes that you have. And I really want you to focus more on trigger word, right? If you notice, even in my videos, I'm teaching like 15, 20-minute videos, but the key words that I'm using are very minimal. And the reason why I like to use less words when I'm putting my content together is to make my brain retain the content better in the brain. When the brain retains content more, I can focus my energy and attention on my audience. I can focus my energy and attention on you versus constantly looking down, constantly looking at the side, constantly does that make sense? Every time you break eye contact to look at your notes, you break relationship with the audience, and that's killing your sales, and it's killing your impact, and it's killing your ability to rapport and build powerful rapport with your audience. Does that make sense? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get your content together, and I want you to focus on what I call loosely scripted notes. Loosely scripted notes. And I'm gonna do a whole separate video about that in the future, okay? Loosely scripted notes, because the less notes you have, the more present you will be in your presentation. I'm gonna say that again and write that down in the comments. The less notes you have, the more present you will be in the conversation, in the presentation, and in your audience, okay? If you got a zillion notes, and if you feel like you gotta say every single word that's on there, you're gonna get tripped up left and right, okay? So get your content together, that's first and foremost, have it all in one place, and really focus on what I like to call more loosely scripted notes. That's the first thing I want you to do. Again, mirror practice is trash. I don't do it. I've never done it, okay? I've done something very different instead. There have been times where I've been in rooms where I've been able to see mirrors and I can see myself, but I don't practice a presentation meant for hundreds and thousands of people with just me in a room with a mirror. I don't do that. Dresser mirror, bathroom mirror, none of that, okay? Never have. And I don't want you to do it either, okay? Cool. Number 2, I want you to learn, watch this, the audience size, okay? I want you to find out the size of the audience that you're getting ready to speak to. Now, the reason why this is so very important is because you need to know, okay, am I gonna be in a boardroom where there's 8 people around a big table? Okay, that gives me one kind of energy that I need to deliver from. Am I gonna be in a breakout session room where there's maybe like 30 or 40 or 50 people, there's an aisle in the middle, and there's, classroom style seating on both sides, okay? Or theater seating on both sides with a screen behind me, blah, blah, blah. Am I gonna be more in a ballroom where there's 2 or 3 aisles and there's people classroom style theater? I'm up on a stage with risers, I'm being IMAG'd, right? These are all things that you need to know. I've got a confidence monitor, there's stairs on the left and right, there's a bunch of bushes in the front of the stage, so I can't really go right off the stage if I get excited, right? These are all things that you need to know. Is this a virtual presentation? If it's virtual, am I gonna see the chat? Can I see the attendees on screen? This is all, so you kind of got to get a feel for the size audience that you're gonna be speaking to, because that's gonna impact how you deliver. Now, here's my rule. You need to crush the stage, you need to kill it, you need to kick butt and take names, no matter what audience size you have, okay? But in terms of practicing your presentation, you wanna practice consistent with and congruent with the type audience that you're gonna be delivering for, okay? Really, really important.
Hey, if you enjoy this video, listen, do me a favor, click the link below and pick up a copy of our brand new book, Platinum Presentations, 52 Tips to Speak with Confidence, Win Your Audience, and Grow Your Bank Account.
Once you know the audience size, then I want you to find a space comparable. This is huge, okay? And this has been a massive key to my success for decades. So let's say if I'm gonna be giving a boardroom presentation, right? I wouldn't mind practicing in either a boardroom or even in my home. I'll go in front of my dining room area, right? It's got like 8 chairs or 8 or 10 chairs, and I will practice my presentation in my dining room area because that's consistent with and it's comparable to what I'm getting ready to do for the client. However, if I know I'm getting ready to be in front of 100, 200, 300 people, 500, 1,000, 1,500 people, guess what? I will go to a local park, a big, huge playground area, right? A baseball diamond, a football field, right? I will go to some larger outdoor space where my eyes can literally see the size of the room that I'm probably gonna be in, and then I will start practicing in the end zone of a football field because that's equivalent to me being on stage at a big conference where there's gonna be 500, 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 7,500 people in the room. Does that make sense? So I find outdoor spaces that are comparable to the size room that I'm more than likely gonna be in. I'll take it a step further. I will even ask the client to send me photos. I'll ask the client to send me photos of the room because, see, once your eye can see something, then you can begin to start to see yourself succeeding in that space. And so what's gonna bring massive confidence to you so you can go out there and murder that next presentation is being able to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. So you gotta see that space in advance. So sometimes weeks and even months before a presentation, I'll say, hey, can you please have the person at that conference or the convention center send me a photo of what the ballroom looks like so I can have an idea of how I'm gonna present. And then based upon that, I will find some outdoor space. I've practiced at the beach. I've practiced in front of the ocean. I've practiced some of everywhere, right? At a boating marina, I will find a place in nature that is comparable to the size of space that I'm gonna be in. An empty YMCA, an empty church, an auditorium. Sometimes I'll go to my kids' school and park an hour early before it's time to pick them up from school. And if the gym is open, I'll practice in the gym before it's time to pick my girls up, right? Nobody's in there, so I'll just go in there and just kind of use some time, right? Or go to the soccer field and just work on my presentation before it's time to pick my girls up or something like that. I will find a space, and sometimes I might just be driving. I say, oh, there's an open field over there. Let me go practice my next presentation for 20 minutes. I will find a space comparable. And when I'm in that space, I want you to write these things down. I want you to practice 5 things. First and foremost, I want you to practice your gestures. See, if you're in a small space, you're gonna gesture as if you're in a small space. If you're in front of the ocean, and I say, okay, you see that boat way back there? I need the person that's on that boat way back there to be able to see you on this ocean shore, right? Giving your presentation. Your gestures in a boardroom are gonna be like this. Your gestures at the beach are gonna be like, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, yeah, we gotta make this happen, right? And these grand gestures, right, is what you're gonna use when you're in front of a big, so I want you to practice your gesture. That's number 1. Number 2, I want you to practice your staging, your use of the entire stage. Stage left, stage right, center stage. I want you to practice all of that in that space. The third thing I want you to practice is your vocalics, your use of your tone of voice, how much you're projecting your voice, right? How loud you're getting, how soft you're getting. Does that make sense? The fourth thing I want you to practice is your pauses. I think it's very, very important that we practice pausing and really letting our audience take in what we just said. Does that make sense? Practice your pauses and make sure that your pauses match your gestures, right? These are all things you need to practice so that when it's time to really rock out, you can kick butt and take names and absolutely destroy the stage. The last thing I want you to practice is your energy. The energy you would give a room full of 500 people is different than the energy that's gonna take to carry 5,000 people. It's different from the energy it's gonna take to carry 50,000 people. It's not the same energy. So you need to know, okay, how am I gonna make sure that I'm leveraging with my energy, with my space, my use of the stage, my use of my gestures, my use of my vocalics, right? All of these things, remember, 70 to 90% of all communication is nonverbal. So while we're in the business of wanting to say everything that we want to say, please remember that a lot of what you're saying is coming across in your nonverbals. It's coming across in your confidence, in your stance. It's coming across in how high you hold your head. It's coming across in how great of good, strong, direct eye contact you can give. And remember this, watch this. When you're in an environment where you're being eye-magged, and what eye-magged means is if you're in front of an audience of 500, 1,000 people or whatever, there's a good chance you're gonna be eye-magged, which means that the cameras are on you and then they're displaying your image on the screens. So here's what that means. You actually technically pseudo have two different sets of eyes you gotta cater to. You gotta cater to the audience that's right in front of you, and you also have to remember that your face has been magnified times 50 on the screens on the side. So everything that you say on your face and what you do with your facial gymnastics is now amplified times 50 on those screens. So if you roll your eyes in disgust because the audience didn't get your point or they didn't laugh like you thought they were gonna laugh, if you're being eye-magged, you just multiplied that by 50. So you have to be very careful with your body language, right? In those environments. What you might get away with if you're not being eye-magged non-verbally, you cannot get away with if you're being eye-magged. Does that make sense? And number 5, right? Last but not least, I love this one. Make sure that once you have practiced all 5 of those things, you do me one favor, and number 5, give miniature versions of your full-blown presentation at Toastmasters meetings or other local events leading up to your big event. For example, do you know that most A-list level comedians will practice their jokes and practice their punchlines and practice their material in small comedy clubs for months before they do the big HBO special or the big Netflix special or the big opportunity that they've got to film their big debut? They'll practice that same material in small clubs and in small venues to see how the jokes landed, to see how the content resonates, to see where the punchlines failed and didn't fail, to see which demographics, which part of the country resonates with their content more or less. So my friend, if top A-list level comedians do that, then we got to do that as well as speakers, as keynoters, as presenters. So I want you to find a way to give miniature versions of your full-blown talk at your local Toastmasters club or at other different business networking groups or chambers of commerce meetings or different local entrepreneurial group meetings or local different locations where you can practice that presentation several times over and make sure it's kick butt and take names worthy before you give it for the big. Make sure you never practice during a performance, right? So get all the practice in so that when it's time for you to do the gig, you crush it, you shut the building down, okay? That's vitally important. These are all really, really important, powerful nuances that help you kick butt and take names and crush the stage, shut the building down, and give the best presentation possible so that you can go out there and kick butt and take names. Notice how everything I've taught you over these last few minutes is so much more impactful, immediate, and tactical than just getting yourself in front of a mirror in a bathroom, an 8x8 bathroom, and going over your notes. Mirror practice is trash. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to apply all 5 of these principles in your next practice session and every practice session from here on out. And if you would love for us to help you practice to get masterful, click the link in our description, set up a call with one of our team members so we can help take you to the next level. Please remember that this is your year to shift your speaking career into a higher gear. I'm somewhere around the world believing in you. Dr. Delatorro, I'm out.